Hi. How do I use this thing? Oh, is this thing on? Okay, I don't know how well the music sounds right now. Hold on. Let me just copy and paste what Fallon said last time. Where did she? Oh, live notice probably. Yep. Yep. Hold on. Since oh, who is it? Ah, Owen! Sorry, that was probably really loud. Hold on. Let me post this real quick so that people in my chat now, or my Discord. Okay, view your channel live. Probably gonna hear me for a second. So in my chat. Okay. Copy. Paste. Here we go. Okay. We got a little bit of a friend today. Oh, I didn't send this one. There we go. We got a little bit of a friend today. Because we're watching a dog. Don't mind my slides. He's looking at the camera. But, okay, Fallon's here. Let me see. What did she say in text message format? Sorry, Fallon. Didn't mean to spring that on you all of a sudden, but I was like, oh crap, I forgot to tell her. I kind of like kept forgetting to advertise throughout the week. Does the chat actually usually interact with the Bible study? People would kind of talk like this. So before, yes, people would do their questions a bunch. Hi. People would do questions like throughout the stream a bunch, but what I do now is I have everybody come at the end, and I have like a link to a Q&A, and yeah, you'll be able to put questions there, which actually, Fallon, let me make that really quick. Hold on. Sorry, you guys can probably hear me typing really loud. What did I use? What was? Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna make a thing, like a Q&A thing, and then I'm gonna send it to Fallon so that she can post it in the what's it called? I wanna copy and paste. Copy. Sorry. I know this is probably not what you guys wanted to watch me to do, but I low-key forgot to do this. So, create Slido. Okay, audience Q&A. Share. Copy link. And then I'm sending this to you, Fallon, so that you can do y'all magic. Okay. I don't know. I didn't advertise too much tonight, or today, so I'm not gonna like sit here and wait a bunch. Snoozer content. Shut up, bro. We're about to get into the meat. No, I didn't want to. I'm not gonna wait too long for people to come in because I know that I kind of forgot, so it's kind of my fault. Okay. Let me know how the music sounds, by the way, at any point if it gets too loud. Jax, you're going to need to find another place to stand, bro, because that's where I'm going to be. Come on. Go lay down over there. Good boy. Okay. Welcome back, everybody, to the stream. Grues? Dang, 30-second delay based on when he actually sent it and when he said he sent it on stream. Wow. That's crazy. Sorry 30-second delay is insane. I don't know how to change that on YouTube, so I'll mess with it next time. But let's get into the meat of it. Okay. You have to bear with me here because we are going to go through a little bit of scripture this time. So I'm going to put it up on the screen, but to do that I got to mess with it a little bit. Go lay down, Jax. Go lay down. Preferably not on the wire. Okay. So, last time, for those of you who weren't here, which I think it was just Owen, actually, because everybody else was here before. We talked about religion, the religion side of religion versus relationship. Oh, I need a timer. Sorry. Almost done for real this time. Okay. We're good. Sorry. No, but we talked about the religion side of religion versus relationship. I thought I was going to get through both sections, but I definitely didn't. So we're going to go over the relationship side of things. So just like a brief synopsis of what I'm talking about and what we did last time is I'm talking about, because something that a lot of the people that are in my life struggle with not being a Christian is church hurt. So that's something I wanted to address. I thought that like a lot of the believers or non-believers that I'm friends with and are in my community all have said that the reason they don't believe is because of church hurt or some kind of trauma with the church. So my goal is just to kind of explain what it means to about church hurt and about religion, what it means to be in a religion beside, or what's the word I'm looking for? I guess rather than a relationship with Jesus. But last time, religion, just talking about how it didn't get to the core, how a lot of times religion it becomes a self-righteous religion, and that's a denial of God. How religion's made about us and not about Him, and that's where the problem lies. And we talked a little bit about Jesus' law and how He came to fulfill the law and correct the misinterpretations of Moses' law. And we kind of talked a little bit about how, what was it? Thousands of new commandments have been added by man to the original 613 commandments, which is in the no-go zone. So, let us dive a little bit more into relationships. So I really want to go over Romans 3 with you guys, which I know last time at the end I told you guys to read through it, which I'm going to say that again today because probably next stream I'll do Romans 3 and just kind of go through that, because it's really good in terms of what I'm talking about. But we're going to start with relationships. So what do I mean by relationship? So this is what God truly wants, right? It's in the Bible as one of the biggest thing that Jesus talks about is what matters is that you have a relationship with Him, and He wants a relationship with you. He wants a relationship with you. Sorry. But what does that truly mean, right? And I came up with a couple points, and we're going to go through each point. I have some scripture too. But one is be obedient. 2 is put your full trust in Him. 3 is pray to Him, have a conversation. And then 4 is love Him just as He loves you. So I'm going to do a little bit of jumping around in my notes just because I feel like it makes a little bit more sense to do it this way. But starting off with that first point of being obedient, right? I know that for a lot of people, hearing be obedient makes you think, I don't want to serve a man, right? Like it's like the feminism and you starts, taking over. But let me challenge your perspective on obedience, in a sense towards God. So I feel like a lot of people, let me rephrase that. Being obedient to God means seeking to obey God from a heart of devotion rather than a heart of obligation, right? So rather than being like, I feel like I'm a slave to him, it's more like I'm a servant in a way, in a sense of, this is something I want to do, this is something that I want to devote myself to, is being obedient to God and doing what he wants me to do. Because God may ask you to do things that it's just way out of your comfort zone. Like, for example, he might ask you to go up to someone, and like some random stranger, and say something to them about something completely random. Like, I know of a story where this guy, like, he was like, they were praying, and like, he's got the word oranges for some guy, and he's like, what? Like, why? I'm not gonna go up to this guy and just be like, hey, I feel like God gave me the word oranges. But he did. He mustered up the courage, and he went up to the guy, and he said, I just feel like God has given me the word oranges for you. And that guy that he had went up to had really been praying and trying to decide if he should be planting making an orange farm, because he was just not sure. You know, it's a big thing, but it's just like little things like that. Like, you don't know what he could be working through with someone, and he could if you be obedient, he can work through you. And that's what I mean by having a relationship. Is not he's never gonna put you through something that you can't handle. And sometimes trials like that, like sometimes it'll be something small, like go up to this person and say graham crackers, and sometimes it'll be like go travel to frickin' Mexico and preach. Dangerous, by the way. But next point of putting your trust in him. This is a very tough one, I think, for a lot of people, because a lot of people have problems with fathers, especially in today's age. And I mean, for me personally, hold on, drinking water. For me personally, it's like, it's hard for me to understand that love of a father. And so, especially coming from someone that is like high up, right? He's high up. I don't see him, right? And it's really hard to hear him. It's really hard for me personally to feel that love of a father, especially with a lot of people go through that, especially because of not just quite understanding that love of the father, which I feel like I'm going into a different point. So I'm going to go down to that and start talking about that, and then I'll come back to, the other points. But something that's helped me put it in perspective recently, and I feel like I kind of had this revelation, was look at the world around you, right? Like, look at the nature, the trees, the water, the animals. Like, God created all of that, and still he loves you above all of it, right? Like, it's almost like his gift to us of like showing us how much he loves us. Like, I had this, it blew my mind when I thought about it. Like, it's like you go outside and it's like those, like a beautiful summer day, like in the middle of summer, during elementary school, and it's like perfect 70-degree weather with like the sun beaming down, just a slight breeze, so it's not too hot, you know? Like, that's what I imagine is the love of the Father. And I just feel like that really put it in perspective for me. But back to my other point that I was trying to get to and then veered off completely, is putting your full trust in him, and that he has made a way for you. So, like, how do you have trust in someone that you don't see, right? It takes a lot of practice. Like there's still times where even I'm like, this is what you said, God, but it's hard for me to believe, because I just like, I'm so used to like worldly things, right? And I'm so used to especially people like going against their word, because that's just what people do, right? People lie, people make promises they can't keep, even if they don't mean to. Like, even if they make a promise and they're like, I promised this, and then they break that promise, they're like, I didn't mean to do that, like, I was trying my hardest. There's still times that people are going to let you down, no matter what. And what's crazy is to think that, like, he can't let you down. Like, well, let me rephrase that. He won't go back on his word. There's definitely times where you'll feel like you're let down by him. But he gives you what you need and not what you want, right? He gives you, he's not just, I feel like a lot of people kind of see him as a means to an end rather than a fatherly figure. And that's just, it's where the disconnection happens. But also just with trusting him, it's so easy to, on that line of people like betraying you, so easy to hold stuff back from him, right? But he wants you to lay it all down. And that is really hard for us as people, as humans, because all we want to do is have control, right? All we want to do is to be able to control our own whatever, like, oh, I can manifest this, I can manifest that, oh, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example, like, oh, if I can just sort this out on my own, and like, I can figure it out. But more often than not, that's not true, right? Like, there's a lot of times where you tried to manifest something and it just didn't happen ever, right? There's so many times where you're like, oh, I can work out this relationship with this friend, and then it completely falls apart. And like, thinking about it, imagine how much stuff you could have worked through if you had the literal creator of the universe standing at your side, right? Working things out for you. And not even just the bad things, right? Not even just the struggles, laying down like what's good in your life and what's bad in your life. Like, oh, like, I give this, I don't know, this food poisoning, I don't know, I give this food poisoning to you, Lord, like, take it away from me, I don't want it, like, I don't claim it, kind of thing. But also, like, almost like coming to like a father with like, look what I did, like, I don't know, I got the girl, something like that, you know. But he wants your everything, not just part of you, not just like, I'll give you these problems, but these I'm gonna figure out on my own, right? That's not what he wants. It's not how he works, because that's just, you're not fully in it, right? And you're not fully accepting him in that. Oh, I'm glad I made this note. So I heard this story about, so there's a guy, and there's a fence in a field, right? On one side of the field is Jesus, and on the other side of the field is Satan. So this guy's trying to decide, where do I want to go? Like, if I go to Jesus, right, all things in my life will be good. I might have to sacrifice some things that I want to keep, like alcohol or sex or gambling, you know. But those things all hinder me anyway. Or I can stay with Satan and I get to have fun and live a life of party. I can drink all I want, I can gamble all I want, I can have sex with whatever women I want, do whatever drugs I want. And so he decides, okay, here's what I'll do. I'll sit on the fence so that I'm half on Jesus' side and I'm half on Satan's side, and I'll get the best of both worlds. And that's when he sits on the fence, and that's when Jesus comes to him and he said, so you've made your choice. And he's like, well, yeah, I got a little bit of each person. And that's when Satan comes up and he says, oh, no, I own the fence. And I think it really speaks to, you can't serve two masters, right? You can't, I'm going to pursue the Lord, but I'm also, without shame, I'm going to just, do drugs. Like, it's okay though, because I'm on this side of the fence as well. It doesn't work like that. Us when we realize partying isn't fun as growing. Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, so many people like regret it when they get older. Like, I mean, some people, loved it, and they're like, oh, so glad I had sex with 50 women when I was younger. And then there's some that's like, my body has been destroyed because I drank all my life. Like, I drank from when I was just a teenager till I was 50, and now I'm like living on tubes. Or I smoked and now I have a hole in my throat because I smoked cigarettes all my life, or I smoked weed all my life. And it's just like, it doesn't hit you until it hits you for a lot of people. And that's why the gospel is so important. The good news is so important. Those are people who peaked in college. Exactly. But one more point to this of the 4 points, then we're going to get a little bit into some scripture. Is praying to him. I feel like praying has two sides, in my opinion. Whether this is necessarily biblical or not, I have somewhere I'm going to go with this. But I feel like there's the formality, and then there's the informality, right? There's some people that, and I think that some people prefer to have like the written, like, hallowed be thy name, hallowed thou art in heaven. I can't remember the prayer, I'm not gonna lie, but that's just easier for their memory because it's like a popular prayer that they can go back to every time. And then the informality of like just having a conversation, like, and I honestly think, I don't think it's about formality. I think it's about connection, right? It's about having a conversation with the Lord. And like, for me, I will literally sit there and I'll be like, all right, dude. Like, I'll call Jesus dude. And I will just like straight up have a conversation with him when I'm praying. It's not like, Lord, please fix this. Please fix that. It's like, oh yeah, like, her and I hung out today. It was pretty good, Wish I would have done this better, kind of thing, or something like, anything like that. Just like a yap session, the good and the bad. Just tell him everything. And something I had been told, some really good advice I had been told when I was going through some stuff, is to pray without ceasing. And that, I mean, that hit me hard, because what I would do is I would only pray at night, like before I went to bed. And I would also like occasionally pray like randomly throughout like the day about if someone like, oh Lord, please, I really don't want to have to do this like at work or something, but I've just started like praying like constantly. Like if I'm not like, even if I am having a conversation with someone, sometimes I'll just pray like they'll be like, yeah, my brother and I had 50 Bud Lights last night together, me and him. And I'll just like stop and like in my head just be praying like, Lord, please help them, because that's insane. But sorry, I was reading a text. But yeah, and it's about love, right? which I kind of should have used this as a segue into my other point that I already did. But just understanding that the God of the universe, the creator of everything, of you, loves you, right? And it's so weird to think about, but it's just so true at the same time. And I think it's just important to show him your like love in whatever way that you can, because for me, that's doing this, right? That's worshiping. And it's so hard for some people to understand how to do it, and I think it's just important to do it in the way that you know how to. Lord, please help them, because that's insane. Real. Exactly. Okay, moving on though. I don't think, what time is it? I have 20 minutes. I've done 20 minutes. Dang. These 30 minutes go by so fast when I do these. If you have time to answer, how do you even pray? Okay, I'll have time. I'll answer questions at the end. Which, Fallon, can you post that link and pin it? Or I can pin it whenever you post it. Yeah, I'm gonna come back to these points. I do want to talk about a little bit something else. I want to go through Matthew 25 through 30. Or sorry, Matthew. Whoa, not all the way through that. I don't even think there was a 25 through 30 in Matthew. But I want to talk about Matthew 11, 25 to 30. Thank you, Fallon. I'll pen that real quick. Pin message. Okay, I penned it, so we good. Owen or whoever is in here still you can put your comment or questions in there. Any questions you have, and I'll answer at the end. But yay, Dan Smaller. Okay, let's see. So, like I said, if you have a Bible, you can pull it out. I'm reading from the ESV. You can also read what's on screen. I know it's not exactly the easiest to see, but let me whip out my Bible. Let me whip out my Bible. Whip out my Bible. Sorry, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm doing that. Let me set this down for a second. Oh, passed it. Okay. Get rid of this now. I'm using D&D's magic item cards as bookmarks because I don't have anything else. He just brought his ball in here for me to play with him. Okay, alright. Matthew 11, 25 through 30. So at that time, Jesus declared, I thank you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, that you have hidden these things from the wise and understanding, and revealed them to little children. Yes, Father, for such was your gracious will. All things have been handed over to me by my Father, and no one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son chooses to reveal to him. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So, with that, I have some notes. So, overall theme of this, right, is the only way to know the Father is to know the Son, right? Jax, sorry. And the other thing is, he doesn't just want you to blindly follow. He wants you to rest. He wants to give you rest in his care and his love, right? So let's go. We're gonna go break it down. I don't think it gives you numbers on this. Oh, dang it! I just closed it too. Hold, please. Open back up to Matthew 11. That's Mark. 14, 12. There it is. So 25 to 26 is, at that time Jesus declared, all the way, and then, yes, Father, for such was your gracious will. And so what that's talking about, these things, right? What does it mean by these things? Hidden these things. It means the message and activities of the kingdom of heaven, right? It means, which requires faith and humility to grasp. We can't be self-righteous. We can't be prideful and understand the message and activities of the kingdom of heaven. And that's very apparent if you look at social media, if you look at people that aren't believers, right? There's so much pride that it's hard. They're unable to grasp the idea of the kingdom of heaven, right? Wise and understanding, right? It says, hidden these things from the wise and understanding. And you would think, okay, why would God want to hide the kingdom of heaven from the wise and understanding? And what it means by the wise and understanding is those who are wise in the world's eyes, not wise in biblically, right? But the wise in world's eyes, and those who stubbornly refuse to accept the gospel. Because, I mean, it goes back to pride, right? It goes back to, I know all. I think I'm wise. You know, I've lived on this earth for how many years? I think I would know better, right? But then think about how many people lived on this earth before you and accepted Jesus. Think about how God is timeless. He's lived on this earth. He's lived longer than any person ever. And it's a matter of leaning not on your own understanding, but leaning on God, trusting in God. And then little children is another thing that it says, revealed them to little children. And that's simply just people who receive the gospel in faith. Simple faith, not blind faith, but simple faith, right? There's a major difference between just being like, oh yeah, sure, sounds good, and simply just like hearing it and receiving it and being like, this is something, this is it, right? Like this is it. 28, we're gonna move down to 28. That's come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. This is specifically referring to those who are oppressed by religious legalism, right? It's those who have that church hurt. Back then it meant like the scribes and the Pharisees that would impose that legalism on people. But I mean, very much applicable to the people that, you know, go through church hurt now. Because Jesus is so much different than like how people have made him out to be. People have made him out to be, you know, like oppressive, shaming, but he's not that. He's kind, loving. Excuse me. And it becomes very apparent, very, very apparent if you just dip your toes in, right? And then 29, take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For your yoke is easy and my burden is light. So, yoke. When I first heard of yoke, I was like, from eggs? Like, why is Jesus talking about his eggs? I didn't understand, clearly. But what that means is, a yoke is, so back then, like, you know, they didn't have cars, clearly, but they would pull carts by oxen. And so the yoke is that wooden frame that would join the two animals, that would pull those carts of whatever, you know, was inside of them. And this was a metaphor for one person's relationship to another, or also kind of a metaphor in total, like the whole yoke is easy and burden is light. It is a metaphor to like the law. So with yoke, starting with my yoke is easy, it's talking about connecting with him, right? Because if you have a yoke which, you know, has two oxen, if you have the left side is a really strong oxen, and then the right side is just like this puny baby deer or something, obviously you're gonna have some trouble pulling that cart. But what he's saying is his yoke is easy and his burden is light. So this cart, not only is this cart light, but so is the connection with him. And the whole, he's kind of taking a rip at, you know, the Pharisees' interpretation of the law, because with its extensive list of rules, it had become a crushing burden. And that's very apparent in today, and just back then you can see it all through the Bible. He, like, his woes, I think it's his 7 woes, but like the woe to you, oh blind men, or whatever, who lead the blind astray, or something like that. I can't remember exactly, I'd have to look back at it. But Jesus' yoke of discipleship is, he brings rest, and all it is just through simple, wholehearted commitment to him. And I know it sounds kind of, you know, backwards, like, oh, I'm gonna have rest by devoting myself to somebody, but genuinely, yes. Like, right now, I off the top of my head, I can't think of any other way to describe it or put it into any other words other than just like, try it, right? Like, I have experienced it for myself, and I know many people who have as well. But it's been 30 minutes. I need to stop because I will keep going. I didn't even get through the second section. Also, I got through 1 scripture, and I have like 4, so I have 3 others. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 others, so I had 6 total, and I got through 1. This is going to be a lot longer of a series than I thought it was going to be. But I will now answer questions, because I think it's just the one from Owen. So how do you pray? Kind of going back to what I had said before. Let me find where my notes. Here we go. So let me get a little bit more specific with this after I take a drink. Hold on, I've been talking a lot. I'm going back to this. Okay. So, praying, it's about conversation. It's about connection. It isn't about, and sometimes it's not even about necessarily feeling him, or trying to hear from him. Sometimes it's just talking to him, right? So, like I had said before, it doesn't have to be formal. You don't have to call him, oh, father. You can call him dad. Call him dude, you know? And it's just, it's a yap session, right? Tell him about the good. Tell him about the bad. It's straight up just, to be even broader, it's not, you don't have to get on your hands and knees, right? Or I guess just knees or hands and knees and be like, Lord, please, right? Like, I could be right here standing right in front of you guys and be like, Lord, please help these people. They really need it. Fallon, cut that one out. But it doesn't have to be formal. And going back to like give him everything or tell him everything, like, I feel like also prayer is a good way to lay things down, is saying it, right? Is saying like, Lord, I give you this test tomorrow. Like, I trust that whatever happens, like, you're going to work it out for me. Like, I've been studying for hours, and I pray that, you know, you'll work it out for me. Or, Lord, I really don't want to do this 11-hour shift at this wedding that has an extra hour and no alcohol, so only like 7 people are going to stay. So please just let it be an okay shift, right? And it doesn't have to be formal. It's just about having a conversation. And it can be anytime. It doesn't have to be right before you go to bed. It doesn't have to be right in the morning, which I think you should do. I think you should pray in the morning. You should pray at night. It's a good way to start your day and a good way to end your day. But I think you should pray anytime. Like I said, pray without ceasing, right? Pray whenever you can. Pray whenever you feel like it. Pray when you're happy. Pray when you're sad. It's like you always have him on speed dial, right? You can pray to him whenever, and he'll be listening. It definitely did turn out to be an okay shift, by the way. Exactly. Like, there's a really good song that I like. It's straight up called "God Will Work It Out" by Maverick City. And I mean, listen to it at some point. It's really good. God will work it out. But it's true. I don't think there's ever been a time where, like, after giving my life to the Lord, that God hasn't worked it out. I'm like, I feel like he's always come through. And that's just I feel like for me, the way that I was able to trust the Lord is walking through the walk and eventually humbling myself and giving things to him and learning, like, okay, I gave you this thing and you worked it out, and built trust that way, you know, because you're not going to trust him willy-nilly. Like, it's easy to read the stories and be like, oh, that's really cool how, I think it was Isaiah. Oh, shoot. No, Isaac. I think it was Jacob's son Isaac, and God telling him to literally sacrifice his son. And in a devotion, like, of insane proportions, right? He was like, okay, like, I trust that you're going to work it out. And it's said in the story that he knew that God, he trusted that God was going to work it out. And they got up to the top of the mountain, right? And Isaac's like, so, Dad, we came up here to sacrifice. Where's the sacrifice? Dad, why do you have a knife? You know, kind of thing. Dad, why are you tying me up right now? Like, but before, like, God stopped him and was like, you've proven yourself, right? He's like, you've shown that you trust me. And Abraham, thank you. I don't know why I couldn't remember, because Jacob is Isaac's, whatever. We're not getting into genealogy right now, but Abraham and Isaac, I think, right? Sure. No, but he gave him a sacrifice. There was a lamb stuck in a bush. Yes, Isaac, thank you. There's a lamb stuck in a bush, and they use that for the sacrifice. Which, I don't know if we talk about sacrifice at all in this. It's definitely a hot topic. I know people love to talk about it a lot. But thank you, Chewy Mom. Everybody say hi to Chewy Mom, please. She deserves a hi from everybody. But yeah, is there any other questions? Any other finality questions? If you guys haven't, go watch part 1. I think everybody except for Owen has. I definitely recommend you watch part 1 as well. Just because kind of like precedes this. Hi, Chewy Mom. Thank you guys. But I definitely have a lot more to go through on this. So we're gonna hit this next time. I'm gonna take a break next Sunday because I'm gonna be really busy. But I will be back the next Sunday most likely. I am getting my wisdom teeth removed the 24th, so we'll see how I feel. I'm sure I'll be good. But you never know. Anybody, if you have questions, put them in the chat. Put them in the little link, the Q&A link. I'll give it like a couple minutes, and then I'll end stream. I really need to. I don't want to talk faster. That 30 minutes goes by so quick, but I think it's good because I know that it's hard for some people. I could talk for an hour, but I shouldn't, because I know that some people just don't have the attention span for that. So I try to just keep it to the 30 minutes. I do want to edit that past stream, Fallon. Dang, I'm been talking a lot. And if you guys have other questions, you can always reach out and DM me. I know that Owen and I are going to have our talk that Faith and I had. Sorry, Jax just walked in. Hi, Chewy Mom. Chewy Mom just walked in as well. 30-minute streams are good, I think. I think so, too. It keeps everybody's attention. And then it leaves time for, like, just kind of casual conversation at the end. But yeah, okay. Like I said, if you guys want to DM me, you can. I'm happy to answer any questions. We'll wait a week for the next one. We'll skip one. Gives me time to work on some stuff. Just kind of go over it, and then yeah, we'll converge. So the next one will be then. Let me check the calendar. The 30th. Next stream the 30th, 3 o'clock. Be there or be square. Try not to be square. Hi, Jax. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. I'm going to end stream. Yeah, that's all.